the people who were eating a low-carb diet, again, they did the worst, plant-based did the best. And if you were to line this up and compare low-carb to plant-based, what you would discover is that the people who were consuming a low-carb diet had a 3.8 times higher likelihood of developing moderate to severe COVID-19.
That's interesting. I would have thought the people who were doing the worst would be people who would be like on the McDonald's diet, which isn't necessarily low carb, but just tons of processed foods and refined grains, etc.
I think it brings forward questions about the low-carb diet, and we don't, with this particular study, have the answers of what are the specifics of what was their low-carb diet. But I think it's within reason to assume that people who described their diet as a low-carb diet were doing a general ketogenic type diet, which in many cases is
fiber,
where you're basically reducing your plant intake, you're going low on fiber, and you're cranking up the animal products. Now, if we bring in a nutritionist who's highly facile in this space, like, could they craft a diet that's higher in fiber and yet still low carb? Yes, they could, but that's not the way that real people eat in the real world.
Right. If you're just eating broccoli or something like that, right?
Yeah, there's plants that if we start getting a little more technical with the low carb diet, because some people will do this and trying to protect the space.
Plant-based low carb diet is a thing.
That's right, and there's also like a clean keto, where you're specifically looking to get your dietary fiber, and yet you're still predominantly getting your calories from fat. But there are still some issues with these types of diets. I mean, you can't do that without eliminating fruit. You just can't.
Right. So that's interesting. So essentially, the takeaway is the people who, if you can interpret that data, the takeaway would be that people who are amping up their fiber in their diet just fared better in general.
Yeah, so now here we are, and we're just a few minutes into this episode, and we're already seeing a pattern in the real world of where fiber and the gut microbiome are impacting our gut, are impacting the ability of our immune system to properly do its job, whether it's cancer care, whether it's the real world protection from the pandemic. We're already seeing this pattern exist.